you know, bless my mum. She's always like, she likes to pop in on my streams every now and again, because obviously it's like, once you're out of the house and they sort of want to keep in touch with you, if you're streaming and you're online, your parents can tune in whenever they want to be like, oh, I wonder how my son is doing. And very recently for Mother's Day, I went home to visit my mum. And she sort of, and every now and again, she'll be like, we'll be finishing conversation. She says, yeah, fuck me, like you like to say on stream. And I'll be like, okay. Like she's trying to bully me for how verbose and how, how vulgar I am on stream, which is like, okay. But surprisingly, I think a lot of them get it. Like, especially my dad, when it comes to like me sort of doing ASMR and stuff, like he doesn't watch it. But he knows like kind of the angle with that sort of content, and he's like, son, I wouldn't enjoy it myself, but I see what you're doing, and as a businessman, I think you're doing very, very well. And like that's kind of all I get from my dad, who is like, he's a very, very old man, and he's been in the business sector for a long, long time, and so it's really interesting to sort of have like, especially with parents, it's so interesting like how when you first start in this whole thing, like you would have experienced this as well, they see it as like random little hobby, and then the instant that money comes in, they're like, oh, I see. Oh, well, carry on then. One of the funniest things for me is the fact that like my dad very much was like, it's just a hobby, son. Like don't get too distracted with it and everything. Like, you need to focus on your career and stuff. And then suddenly when it becomes big, he's very interested in what I'm doing. And what I hear is he's telling all of his friends. He's such a dad because he's telling his friends A, at the pub, and B, at the golf course. So he tried to tell one of his oldest friends about it, saying like, yeah, so my son is doing this thing with like he's called a VTuber, where it's like, you've got software that sort of tracks your face, and his friend is like, so is it like an animation? Are they gonna draw it while he's live? And they're like, and he's like, well, no. Like, he told me that. I was like, how would that work? And like the amount of times he tries describing what I do and like where the money comes from, and like his friends will just be like, but what is it? Like what does he actually do? He's like, well, he plays games and chats with people online, and they send him messages that have money in them, and they're like, but what? Like, what does it mean?
People
like,
play him. People pay him to play the games.
The games. I'm like, why? Like, why do they play? Because he's funny, and it's like, why would they pay him if he's funny? And it just sort of goes on like that. Like, it's so new, and it's so weird that it's so new, because it feels like such an incredible culture to us that like we must have grown up around, right?